Howdy, howdy, howdy. Yeah! Welcome to Pokemon Adventure Manga Book Club. Jello will be here in like 2 minutes. He's making pasta. His pasta just finished. Yeah. Like my hat? Like my stuff? Hi, aloha. Yeah, that's me. How's it going? Yo, pasta? Yeah. Like, Jello, on the low key, Jello's tummy been hurty, so he slept for a long time, and now he's just trying to make food before we do this. So, you know, how's it going, chat? How's it going, peeps? You guys enjoy the manga? I like Aloha's 2 pairs of sunglasses. I mean, technically the top one is goggles, because this is gold, I think, from the next arc. Just Aloha Book Club, got it. I mean, Jill's gonna be here in a couple minutes, right? Congrats on 100k. Thank you very much. I just read the only bad volume of Pokemon Adventure so far. So bad. I'm gonna be real. The like last 2 volumes are kind of dog water. Gonna be real. Oh, Jello's calling. Jello,
it's me.
Let me move you in the thing, because now that there's no bow, I can just like, we can be a little closer.
Okay.
A little closer to each other. I just want to feel the touch of another human.
Wow.
There we go. Thank you. Night. Hello, Jello. How's your pasta?
I haven't eaten it yet. I ran over here.
Now that's real torture. But yeah, no, I was just saying howdy chat, and I was like, yeah, obviously if you haven't noticed, this is free. Because for the long runners like this, we've only had one piece that's also a long runner. We're going to do the first ones free. Yay, free! But if you want to join and see a bunch of the other stuff we've done, because we've done Dungeon Mesh, we've done Pluto, we've done all of One Piece, you can join the Patreon at $5 tier. $5 is literally nothing in this economy, bro. What can you buy for $5? Definitely
like,
not.
Literally one Coke from a vending machine where I live, and that's
it. Like it's like fucking what, like half a burrito? Like, come on, man. You get thousands of hours of content on the Patreon. Literally, Jello just fucking throws that shit up there. Like,
Yam and I are probably going to do a review of Link Click sometime this week when I'm not sick.
Yeah. But, Pokemon Adventure, blue, green, red, yellow, all the arc.
Can you share music to me if you're musicking?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I am musicking. I mean, good friend.
I mean, it's my fault for being late so that I could eat, but not eating has exacerbated my condition, so.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's fine. Oh, man. Honestly, this manga was very fun for, like, the first, like, 4 or 5 chapters. I'm gonna say, in my opinion, when Yellow gets introduced, it kind of nosedives a little bit.
I actually agree, and it's funny because the last 2 times I read this,
you had the opposite opinion.
Yeah, I was surprised how much fun I had with RBG.
Yeah,
and surprised how bored I was with Yellow. Actually,
it's like, it's this thing of like, Red was just such a guy. He's just such a little dude, right? And I was just like, oh, this is so fun. And it's just like, you know, obviously the fights weren't like amazing because like it felt like they cut a few panels and then it was like confusing in some areas. But like,
yeah,
I found Red just kind of like charming, and you know, his interactions with like Bill, like,
yeah. Before we get too into it, I kind of want to go on, like, explain my relationship to this manga. So. This is, I think, one of the first manga I like read. And originally, I mentioned this part on streams. I used to not know that you could pirate manga, so instead I just found chapter by chapter synopses on Cerebi.net. on the manga section, which to this day I believe has not updated since the point I initially found it, which is pretty sad actually.
Mhm.
And I read through it and I was like, this seems neat. And my favorite part of that was that, like, at the end of every single manga chapter in the Yellow section, the synopsis portion would be like, but Yellow has a secret, referring to her gender. And I was like,
Oh,
why do you keep doing that?
the secret that doesn't matter.
I did that too, Jello. Oh, someone else is a Cerebi soldier. um,
So weird.
so then I read it on my own pretty far. I think up through Black and White. Then I read it, and this was Will reminded me about 10 years ago now, which makes me feel ancient. I
Mhm.
read it with Chula, Will, and Aram as a fully voiced thing just for us, back before any of us did professional voice acting for practice. And I made the worst casting decision of my life, which was not thinking of which characters interact with each other. So I cast Aram as Green, Koga, and Agatha, who end up fighting each other. I cast Shula as Blue, Sabrina, and Lorelai, and I cast Will as Red, Lieutenant Surge, and Bruno. And then I was
That's
Lance and Yellow and Blaine. So I really fucked it up there.
You're so good, bro.
Yeah, that was an
Yeah.
important lesson to learn. But
Mhm.
yeah, I was pretty delighted by how
Yeah.
much I was enjoying reading the initial stuff.
Yeah.
It's funny because, like, this really genuinely seems like it comes from a time that is long extinct
Yeah.
in the Pokemon franchise, where it's like
It's fun.
yeah, well, that too. But
Yeah.
like at one point, the whole Pokemon company was like, "Listen, we're gonna do this big multimedia push, and hopefully it'll take
Mhm.
off." And obviously, it did.
Yeah.
Because like they planned the games and anime and manga to come out at the same time, but because they did that, the mangaka has this unique, weird thing where it's like, "Oh, this is a project I'll be working on," because nobody knew Pokemon was gonna be what it became. And
Mhm.
I think even by the end of Yellow, they still didn't know it would be even half as big as
Yeah.
it is now.
And
And
dude, imagine how much this guy has lucked out on just like, well, this is the rest of my life.
I mean, a little bit. I feel like he's trapped and he never gets to finish a story, and we'll see that as it goes on. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, it is deeply sad seeing him and Mato, the current artist, be like, hopefully the games won't outpace us, and like me burdened with knowledge. I'm just like, oh, I'm so
Mhm.
sad. But
Yeah.
it's cool seeing a point in the series where like clearly they just had meetings every couple months, and it was like, what else is happening in the franchise? And it's like, because you get to see Blue flashing back to Eckertique City, which
Mhm.
is Johto's shit, in like
Yeah.
chapter 30.
Like how much did they know?
I think
right?
they knew about everything the game devs knew, which wasn't as much as you'd hope because they were idiots.
Yeah.
But like,
Mhm.
they definitely had a heads up on stuff.
Also said it's actually a two-man team, writer and artist. Well, the artist changes.
The artist changes.
The author does
starting
not.
the author has been this guy for 25 years.
Yeah, like the like around I think Ruby and Sapphire, the artist changes. So like they break free. This guy has been chained in a basement writing Pokemon adventures for 25 years.
They reference Ho-Oh, and the final Pokemon is clearly Lugia. Yeah, yep.
Yeah, it's
Um,
like yeah.
I don't remember the circumstances, but I'm pretty sure Ho-Oh is
I mean, yeah,
represented to be the
it's
Pokemon
kind of like
that kidnapped Blue.
it's kind of like at the beginning of like the Pokemon anime, where it's just like Ash sees a bird in the sky and it's clearly like Ho-Oh, but it's not, right? Like
Yeah, and it never
Yeah.
goes back to that. They just drop it.
Yeah.
Like Pokemon loves dropping their Pokeballs everywhere, but like
Ugh.
it's cool to see, like, if you want to I don't think I pinned it or anything, but you know, there's that scene where Red gets back to Pallet Town and encounters fucking imposter Professor Oak, who is like
yeah.
an obscure
you-
card set from the card game.
you-
And it's like,
what came first, the manga or the card set, right? It's like you don't know really. It's very
It-
interesting.
It reminds me of fucking like I can dig for that in a second if you want to talk
Yeah.
while I'm on push to talk so my Fugi doesn't bounce all the time. But
Yeah, like
it reminds me of there's a Jenny Nicholson. No, not a Jenny Nicholson. The other theme park YouTuber I watch. The Defunct Land video about the
mhm,
Disney Channel theme. He gets an
yeah.
interview with the woman who was in charge of Disney Channel's design when they rebranded, and she's like, "Yeah, every week we just have a meeting, and everyone would be like, we got napkins for Lilo and Stitch, we got plates for Lizzie McGuire. Can you advertise them?" And I feel like it was probably a less organized version of that, where people
Yeah.
were like, "Here's an idea we had. Do you want to use that in the game?" And they'd be like, "Oh, we don't have any room." But and then the mangaka is like, "Yeah, I could use that in the manga," and I think that's really interesting.
Yeah. Uh like there's just so much like interesting things that it's just like is not even explored in the anime, which is like I feel like should be explored. There's so much weird strategy in this manga about how you release your Pokemon during battle. Like it's just a small little thing that I'm like I never really thought about it that hard, but it's like, oh, I have my Pikachu charge a lightning bolt in the ball and I can hold the ball due to the fact of my insulated gloves and shit. I'm like, yo,
That was the best fight, by the way.
yeah, like that's hype. That's great. Like it's
Yeah, can we also like? It's cool. It's funny because like you had a great. I also edited you with the imposter oak if you want to put him on
oh yeah,
screen. I you had a great description of just like it's very little kid writing where
yeah,
battles usually happen in 3 turns and it's like you can't use that on me because I'm immune. Pikachu thunderbolt the Onyx and exploded and it just works and like
yeah,
I saw some people on the Patreon who were like a little annoyed by that, but it must be said also that Gen 1 like kind of didn't even know what Gen 1's mechanics were. Like
yeah,
Bug used to be super effective on poison. And like
yeah.
Ghost was
It's
supposed to be on Psychic and it
there's
wasn't. So and I legit think they gave the mangaka a backwards type chart for Electric because at one point it's like
it was like, oh
Pikachu's
yeah,
weak against water and it blows up an Onyx and like I don't think that's his fault.
it's this thing of like you have to at a certain point you have to look at this series with childlike whimsy to like kind of because like if you think about it too hard then obviously it's like ah, this fucking stupid like if I'm using Pokemon game logic then this doesn't work but like who like it's like I don't care man like it's funny solutions where it's like ah I'm standing on my hydro pump and while you're distracted looking at me I'm gonna hyper beam under the water and get your
Yeah,
ass.
very
It's like
stupid.
it's just like it's very stupid but I'm like hey at least it's like somewhat dynamic unlike the like Pokemon anime. This thing has something great going for it where it has something we can compare it to and go oh this does it way better where it's just like you're
Mhm.
watching like the Pokemon anime and it's like oh it's like one-on-one fight and it's just like oh Electric's super effective against water that's neat where it's just like this is like Gary's like ah I taught your Pikachu toxic, and it's like, oh,
Toxic tail whip, which then
yeah,
never even gets used,
used
which
again,
is so
yeah.
funny.
Like the switching of balls and like the badges being like, oh, the badges power up your Pokemon. It's
Yeah,
just
someone says I thought it was a little strange they tried to give badges effects. The badges do that in the game. They do that.
the badges.
You know that, right?
The
That's in the
badges.
games.
I mean, the badges let you like control higher level traded Pokemon.
No,
and
they
then, like,
legit
usage
make your
them.
Pokemon stronger.
What?
Yeah, like one of the badges, I don't know which one, but like one of them will passively up defense, one up special. They all do shit like that. They don't work well because it's Gen 1, but like how was the manga guy to know that? He was probably given a lowdown of what they were trying to do and he was like sounds cool.
That's insane. I didn't know that. Yeah, like fuck. I like it's just something about it is just like because I never played like Gen 1. I obviously started like playing in like Fire Red and Leaf Green and everything, right? So it's just seeing like just all this like older stuff is very interesting. I also enjoyed how they like roped the gym leaders into the story because God forbid a Pokemon game do that other than like Black and White.
Yeah, the making we talked about this too. Making the 3 gym leaders who all coincidentally have whips and shit in their artwork evil and working for Team Rocket additionally to Giovanni is such a good move. And also Blaine for a little while. And the fact
Yeah.
that 5 of the 8 gym leaders are under their thumb really does make Team Rocket feel like not even like a necessarily just a criminal threat. It literally feels like it's a coup about to take over the entire country, and that's pretty cool.
Like they're already like partially the way there. That like like imagine if like gym leaders had votes on anything. They would have a majority vote on it, like anything, right? It's like that kind of like political power, right? And so it's just like, and then Blaine switching sides evens it out, and so it's like, okay, cool, like.
And that matters in the Yellow arc because now there's exactly 4 of them to like fight off the armies. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Kind of what Team Flare should have been. I mean, Team Flare wasn't anything, so like.
Yeah. But yeah, obviously, just for those who weren't on the Patreon and didn't get this explanation, we are going to be referring Red as Red, what the official translation says as blue as green, and then the girl is not green but blue, because that's how it should be.
It's pretty clear that's what their names are supposed to be.
Yeah. Like, fucking, what, doesn't, like, blue / in parentheses, what they call green show up in Hello Pikachu?
Yeah,
like, let's go Pikachu. And,
I kind of low-key, I didn't play it, but I low-key love Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, because A, it's got a really cute art style, and B, they make the super boss blue, the girl, and she shows up after you catch Mewtwo, and I think she's the last trainer you fight in the whole game. And she's like, what the fuck? I wanted that Mewtwo. And then you beat her up, and she's like, well, maybe I'll just catch you. And then you can be my Pokemon, and then I'll own Mewtwo by transitive property. And she chucks like 8 Pokeballs at your face. And I was like, I was so happy to see her in any canon thing after like 25 years. If they ever add Yellow to a game, I'm gonna buy it.
She's the best character.
They call her Leaf for some reason in English. It's because Fire Red, Leaf Green, so they made her Leaf. And like, I prefer Leaf to calling Blue Green for what it's worth.
Because like they call her green, but yet her outfit is blue. Even in Hello Pikachu, right? Like, I mean, Let's Go Pikachu. Yeah. It's just like, obviously it's like a Zolo situation is what Jello is comparing it to, where it's just like the manga, One Piece manga referred to Zoro as Zolo because they wanted to match the like 4Kids dub, right? And like, obviously they couldn't like stop it, so they just called Zolo throughout the manga Zolo when it's Zoro.
Oops.
Oops. Yeah. Blue's so funny. She gives back the badges and then revealed that she gave Red fake badges. Yeah, at Blue in any of the situation in the manga just made it like 20 times better.
Blue is the best character by a huge margin. I love her. Because she's not bound to any preconceived restrictions of a character in the games, and she can do whatever she wants and go wherever the author needs her to go. So she's like the inciting incident for Red, Green, Blue, Yellow, and Gold and Silver, I think.
Yeah.
And Fire Red, Leaf Green, I'm pretty sure.
Like, she's just great. Like, I really enjoy just the silly shit where it's just like not using flying types and using Blastoise to fly around. Like the Jigglypuff balloon always makes me laugh.
The Jigglypuff balloon is the best every time.
It's so fucking silly because it's just like you see that shape in the distance and it's like, what is that silhouette? And it's just her holding onto a Jigglypuff. And it's like, oh man, who could that mysterious character be?
Yeah, and the fact that she refuses to use flying Pokemon because of her bird phobia is very clever, actually.
Bro, I went in like one of the final volumes where she got her arm cut off. I literally thought she got her arm cut off. I was like, ooh.
Yeah, that was kind of bullshit if you think about it. But
I mean, yeah, it was bullshit as fuck, obviously. But it's like, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if this manga got that dark, you know. So it's just,
I think what they did to Blue in the championship is bullshit. I like it. I think it's a good little slap on the wrist for her because she's been such a piece of shit the entire story arc.
Getting like a little bit of medicine, right? And so that like, yeah.
And then it's funny because Yellow starts and she's breaking into Bill's house and she's like, sorry, Professor Oak, I swear I'm doing it for the right reasons. And like, she is, but she's immediately like threatening Bill. And she's like, don't you want protection from the Elite Four? And he's like, I'll kill you.
Dude, I love Bill.
Bill is great.
Something about Bill is just like so fucking funny. Because there's that panel where it's like everyone's squaring up to battle and Bill is just there.
You should also. Do you want me to grab that?
I'll try to find it. But
it should
like,
be near the bottom because you didn't post anything and you replied to
panel.
it.
Yeah, it's just fucking. It's oh man, here it is. It's just Bill. Bill sounds like Jerry Jewell in my mind.
So yeah, I read Bill as an Irish accent. It's Southern as hell, and it's in the official translation, and it's terrible.
It's terrible.
So,
yeah.
Also, there's a lot of little anecdotes I want to tell about our read through.
Yeah.
Like the out loud one I did with Chula Will Aram, and I was Bill and was doing a Enrique Skies impression to voice him, which is just this voice that I do for a lot of stuff. And when it becomes evil, it's the Justy voice. And we, to this day, refer to that voice I do as the Bill voice, because that's where all my friends first heard it. So, like, I'm reading the Viz version, and he's like, well, hooey, I turned into a Rattata. I'm like, this is illegible. I can't read
like, I was like, literally, when he said fire as far, I was like, this is awful. This is, like, illegible. But it's
I'm
great.
so excited for the Imgur at the end of this. I was honestly trying really hard to, because I know I don't have Bo this time around.
Yeah.
And I think eventually you'll probably hop on the screen cap train.
Yeah, I ordered I ordered up to Diamond and Pearl, and it said my Diamond and Pearl got delivered, but I didn't get it. So I think I might at Diamond and Pearl I might just say fuck it and just do digital because it didn't come in. So
I think that's probably going to be a good idea. I did, because I knew some people would not have heeded the warning, and I'm sure at least one of you is going to refer to the rival as blue and the girl as green or whatever because you read some official scans. And in the thing I linked in Patreon, the Reddit post, there is an official Viz translation and there's a scanlation, and I read both of them side by side.
You read both of them side by side, yeah.
Because some things do fucking, like, each one does certain things I can't stand. So, like,
they need the Caterpie Kitty.
They need
in the official.
Like, I understand because each trainer uses like the same suffix for all their, so like, you know,
Ratty
like
Kitty,
like Rasque or whatever. Like, I get it, but it's so funny. It's like, I'll call you Kitty. It's like, huh? I like Diamond and Pearl's throuple dynamic. Diamond and Pearl does have the best party dynamic to my recollection. I love those three. So in things that one does, out of curiosity, like, what versions did you guys read? I'm really curious. Did you read Fanslations or did you read the official? Because the official made crazy choices sometimes that I was like, let me go look at the raw translation because this sucks. Like making Bill phonetically Southern is bad because it's just way too overtyped. Like, I've written Southern characters. You don't have to try that hard. And someone else did both. Great. And he's just normal in the translations. And then, like, Swimmer, like the Swimmer Yellow Meats talks like fucking Yoda for no reason. And I was like, this is just an absurd choice. And there's like little translation things that were very strange. Like at one point, Blue is climbing up the Silphco, whatever it is. And she's just like, what she's saying is, damn, Team Rocket must have a lot of money to operate a business like this. And she goes, damn, Team Rocket must have a lot of lettuce to operate this kind of place. Like, who is this translator?
What is that? What is that fucking... like, they always made Red say the stupidest fucking puns, but I kind of loved it. Where it's just like...
I came around to it because after a little while, nobody but Red talked that way. And I'm like, okay, now it's a character choice. It's a stupid one, but it is pretty funny. Just like... There's one where he's in Blaine's place and oh my god, I know what the pun word is.
I know what the pun word is. Yeah, same. I can't remember. It's fucking just...
If you nay so, shut the fuck up.
If you nay so. It's such a, like, fucking, like, 13-year-old kid that thinks he's being really cool right now. And I think that's what I love about Red. It's just like, yeah, I'm the coolest kid around. And it's like, huh. Ever since I won that championship, all the battles I had were boring, but you, Bruno, you're different. It's just like, bro, you've been encased in ice for like hours.
All of our forces. Sonic was a POW. I'm back. Yeah, it's very that.
The Shiteno.
Someone points out it was the translation's from like 2007, and for some reason it still left the Elite Four untranslated as the Shiteno. Yeah, in the second Dogs in Love video, I kind of nod to that. And again, that was so I will say they are using the Viz translations, but like making them pirated scans for most of RGB. And then at some point halfway through Yellow, they get a new translator. And they are the weebiest loser I've ever seen in my life. And they're like, we're using honorifics now. Yay! And it's like, boo, why are you adding those? Don't do that. And I'll find it. Hang on. I sent it to Amy. There's like a remarkably bad panel. Is that what the Shiteno is? Yeah, like,
yeah.
So Shiteno, I think, literally translates to 4 heavenly kings. And it's just like a group of 4 guys. That it's like it's in so much anime and manga.
Yeah.
But the thing is, sorry, I am really sick. The thing is, the Elite Four had been translated as the Elite Four years before the fanlation, and it's a good translation. Ain't no excuse to call them the Shiteno, which is what we called them.
God.
Yes, I was rating the dragon scanlation.
So fucking just... This is such a, like, a nice little, like, gem. Because it's just so weird. And it's just, like... I don't know. It's just, like, I love the art. One thing about this is just, like, the art isn't bad. It's just, like, very, like, fun and round. You know?
The way this artist draws characters and Pokemon is delightful. I do think she's very bad at fight scenes.
Yeah. God, it's just, and
every single fight scene had at least one page that made me go, huh? What? Wait.
Yeah, it's just like, it always felt like there was like a couple panels missing in the fights. And it was just, and what I want to talk about, yeah, I love the Pikachu design. I love how round Pikachu is.
So cute.
But I'm tired of this fucking Nepo baby piece of shit, okay? When Poliwrath exists, Red's first Pokemon, the GOAT, the highest level on his team, but yet Pikachu's the leader? Hello?
Yeah, I do think that's bullshit, since they had, like, in my head, I was like, oh yeah, Red's Pokemon is Poly, and then Pikachu hangs out with Yellow, and that's Pikachu's day in the spotlight. And instead, it's just like, Pikachu joins the team leader. I'm like, if I were Poly, I'd be so upset.
If I was Poliwrath, I'd be Poliwrath if I was Poliwrath. I'd be pissed.
That's how he really evolved.
Well, that's how he really evolved, right? And there's just, like, small things with, like, Pokemon interactions where it's, like, the Eevee that was, like, messed with, so it, like, reacted to, like, the signals and, like, transformed into, like, different, like, stuff. I was like, wow, that's really interesting and cool.
I love that.
Even to how, like, Hitmonlee, like, works. I never really saw Hitmonlee have spring legs or arms, and, like...
They even mentioned, they're like, that's a unique thing Bruno trained it to be able to do, and it's... I think the dumb bits of not understanding how Pokemon works is outweighed by getting to see Pokemon that can just come up with cool abilities.
Yeah, it's like, I saw that for Hitmonlee, and I was like, wow, Hitmonlee should just be able to do this, like, normally. And this is just so more interesting than what it was, right? Like, I don't know, it's... Something about it is just like they just have fun, like Onyx being able to split up into like fucking just balls, you know?
Yeah, they love ripping Pokemon apart, especially rock types, to just kill them in this setting.
It just blows up and fucking marbles everywhere.
Also, man, oh man, the fucking Lavender Tower fight where, why did they draw actual decomposing Pokemon zombies?
That was so fucking out of pocket. Like, there wasn't even, like, fake, like, illusions. It was just real Pokemon corpses, and I'm like, damn, bro. Going hard for some reason in this kid manga.
That's one of the 2 times the Viz translation actually censored something, or tried to, where, like, Koga's Arbok gets chopped in twain, and they're like, oh, we managed to defeat the zombie Arbok as well. I'm like, no, that was a normal Arbok. And then even later in Yellow, Koga's just like, yeah, my Arbok has Piccolo powers and can just regenerate.
God.
And I actually do. I think the only thing I pinned, if you want to pull it up, if we're comfortable pulling it up, question mark. The one moment the Viz manga did explicitly censor is when Blue is just dunking on Sabrina, and Sabrina's like, Alakazam, attack that child's tits. I'm jealous of them. And her shirt rips off, revealing 2 Pokeballs with
what
a Jigglypuff. Yeah, oh yeah, you read the official, so you didn't see this.
What the shit? Okay, I will show this.
This is why I pinned it, because I was like, if people read the official, they straight up didn't see this.
There's this where it's just like, okay, this is the censored version, I think, where it's just like there's nothing. But here's the fucking here's the I
lost my focus when she dissed me, and I was like, you know what? That's dumb, but it's pretty in line with how the fights in this series work.
It's so fucking God. That's crazy. I didn't. That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, that's why those 2 Pokemon pop out, because they were activated.
That's all. That got censored, but also that's fucking hilarious and clever. Not gonna lie.
Also, it's in the physical, apparently.
Really? I guess I just missed that. I don't know.
I mean, maybe you got a version where it was censored.
I don't know. Like, because I don't remember, but also because, like, I was having a hard time reading because my brain was, like, fried. Because I get, like, so one reason I like this being bi-weekly is that sometimes I just get weeks where my eyes are bad and I can't, like digest, like, what I'm reading. So having, like, an off week and then an on week of reading is how I prefer doing it. But my manga came in, like, last weekend, right? And so I only had a week to read, so I had a harder time. So it's just, like, some stuff I just didn't, like, comprehend and all that. So
yeah. God. Yeah, people are talking about Mewtwo. All the shit with Mewtwo and Blaine is the hypest shit.
Like, Blaine is so fucking dope, and I think this is like my favorite. This is my favorite stuff dealing with, like,
Mewtwo.
Mewtwo, yeah, because it's just like, I don't know, the, like, arm, the genetic shit, and how they cannot be separated, and just, like, I don't know, it's like the best Blaine has ever been.
To, like, make them the most powerful character, but also not make them win everything.
Yeah, right. It's just, I don't know, it's fun. I hope Blaine and Mewtwo show up, like, later in the series or some shit.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing I'm most excited about with the series, is the fact that characters just will, like, show up later. You know, like, it's just fun, right? Like, obviously, it's just like, I don't know, I don't expect, like, Lieutenant Surge, but he might. I expect Koga to show up again, but
kinda.
Yeah.
I love so for the record, people, the origin of the me being an old person liker joke is from our original Pokemon Smasher Pass, where I was like, yes to Blaine and yes to Agatha, and I was like, she got, you know, maybe she's a little crazy and I like it, and both of those were me thinking of their manga version. And also, you get to see young Agatha in the manga, and she's cute. So I stand by it. I stand by my crazy choices.
Yeah. God. Oh. I'm hyped to see, like, Oak actually, like, be a character that, like he isn't much of a character, but it's just like, oh wow, he's like good with Pokemon. It's just like, yeah, he should be. Also, what is that?
I like that he's kind of a bitch.
Yeah. He goes up and fucking hits this girl in the trauma to show her something for stealing a Pokemon. He's just like, you didn't have to steal. You could have just asked.
He's right though. Like, yeah. Blue deserves to be punched.
God. Oak is ripped. Oak kind of got something.
Yeah.
That tank top and the bandages on his arm. I don't know. That's his fucking outfit or some shit. But oh man.
I love that Blue like is like, I lost because of bird trauma and got told in front of an audience, and then seconds later she's like, hi, yeah, so I came in third in the Pokemon League. How about that sponsorship deal? My girl doesn't quit for 1 minute.
Honestly, I respect the grind hustle set, you know? It's great. Do you
Detail
mean
I thought was
Mask
cool.
X?
Red's Pokemon end up around level 50-ish by the start of the final arc, just like in the games. Yeah, that was neat.
Yeah, one of the worst parts about Pokemon, in my opinion, is the fact that end game is level 50 when the game goes up to level 100. It doesn't make sense. It's a waste of time.
That's true.
Uh,
Yeah, I liked Red, Green, and Blue more than I expected because the pacing is just really solid.
mhm.
I think the longest they spend in any location is Silphco, and that's because it's, you know, kind of the
The
main
finale.
confrontation with the
Yeah.
bad guys. And like, yeah, the Pokemon League is almost an epilogue for the protagonists, really.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Do you think it's because of the fact of like they're on like a fucking time constraint and have to end shit before the next game comes out that they have like
Yeah,
like,
maybe.
it's like shit, like because like if you think about it, like Red's arc was volumes 1 through 3, and then 4 through 7 was Yellow, right?
Yeah, Yellow is
All consuming.
almost twice as long as
Yeah.
red blue yellow, or you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's this thing of like one thing that I'm disappointed about with the Yellow specifically is the fact of like they do like an interesting thing with like when Yellow fights Oak and does the thing where it's like no Pokemon gets hurt, they get dizzy and everything. And I was like, oh, this is a fun gimmick where we'll see how Yellow solves all these issues through non-violent means in fun, clever ways. But yet, it doesn't really. They don't really do that fully. It's
Are the Elite Four well known? What's their official position? They're just 4 assholes that some people
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and someone else says, I thought that the Mewtwo and Giovanni stuff went way too fast. I kind of prefer too fast in this series of just like, I like how brutal and quick the battles are. You don't usually see more than 2 attacks, 3 max from any given Pokemon, and I sort of like that.
Yeah. Like, can't think about a battle Pokemon in this Pokemon battle story. Yeah, it's like, and eventually it's just like Green comes around and it's just like, I'm gonna train, like Yellow's like, train me, and Green's like, sure.
Yeah, so I stand by liking Yellow, and she
Yeah.
also comes back many times, and I really like Yellow.
I like Yellow. I don't think they utilized like her
No.
concepts well enough.
The idea of someone, because like the idea of the protagonist of this part being a hyper Pokemon pacifist who can heal them and doesn't understand battling or evolving or power levels in Pokemon is a really cool pivot, especially when the bad guys are as strong as possible.
Yeah.
And she kind of never wins through that in the second half of Yellow. And like the fact
Yeah.
it's like, teach me to be stronger. It's like, no, that like now you just have a bunch of level 10 Pokemon that you're not good at battling with that you try to battle with anyway, and that's lame. And like I will say, I think Yellow's arc has an immediate huge misstep in trying to. It's like 2 years later, but everyone looks the same age and nothing has changed. So strange to even do that. And then it's like, the only thing that's different is that Erica, I don't know, dated Red or something. She's like so into him now. And it's like, all you did was threaten to kill a small animal in front of him, and he was like, "What the fuck, no." So
I mean, hey man, it's not a bad thing, but
yeah, even halfway through the Yellow arc, we didn't know her motives. It's because they don't really make any sense. Because like chronologically, what's happening is Blue is like, here, Yellow, you are. It's borderline prophecy shit, which is always bad. And it's like, you're a Viridian Forest trainer, so we need you. You go do this stuff. And Blue's like, we don't want anyone to know about you, though. So you need to keep your gender a secret and keep your name a secret. But like, no, she doesn't. Because the reason you have an alter ego is to protect like your friends and family, like Green, like you know how Agatha hates
Yeah.
fucking Oak.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like Green's identity being revealed is bad. But like Yellow has no family that we ever meet and appears to be a woods orphan.
The only thing that would be like worth keeping a secret is that they're from Viridian Forest, but they even their like hidden name is are like basically just translates to Yellow of Viridian Forest, right? It's like
Yeah.
it's like not it like because it's just like you want to like, oh, you're from Viridian Forest, are you the one? That's actually two because Lance also has this power, but we're like, you know, and then also Giovanni has the power, but like, you know, who cares? Like, you know,
Giovanni doesn't have it actually.
He shows up and he goes, "I'm from Viridian Forest."
He's from
too.
Viridian Forest. He
Yeah.
doesn't have the once in a generation Ganondorf power that Lance and Yellow do. But like, it's so I hate. I saw some people being like, "Oh, Yellow is very gender for me," and like, fair enough. But especially because she's from that era. But Japan loves to do this fucking thing where it's like the character you thought was a little boy was a little girl, and it's like, and what? Is that a twist? Does this change anything? And I've never seen the answer be yes one time. Happens in that one of the One Piece movies Bo and I watched. It happens in the fourth Layton game. Happens in JoJo, and every time it's just like, why does this matter? Who cares? Like, if the Elite Four was like, Yellow's a girl, get her, then that would not be different from them being, Amario's a boy, get her. Like, chill out, it's harmless. Fuck you.
Like,
you hit me with that one more time and I'm banning you.
Like,
chill out, it's harmless in the book club.
It's harmless in the book club. If we just excused everything as it's harmless, we wouldn't even have discussion in this, because this manga is inherently harmless.
She's a woman, I know, I saw.
Like, yeah. I don't know, it's just like, it's this thing of like, it's a twist that means nothing, and yeah, it's harmless, but also it's this thing of like, it should mean something, or else it's just kind of pointless as well as harmless, right?
And like, the fact that she's a girl doesn't matter. And also, like, it would be one thing if they were doing a gender thing with her, because when she's revealed, she's like, Yellow's like, what, 5? She's like, no, please don't look at me at Blaine. So you're like, oh, maybe she wants to be a boy. No, she's a girl for the rest of the manga. And it, like, never comes up again.
It's bad writing because it's pointless, is the big thing. Like, why does it matter? And they play it off as it being something that matters, where it's just like, the secret is that he's a she. It's like, you know, it's
like, so what? Like, I just don't see what makes it bad writing is the thing. It's just because it doesn't matter. So allotting time to it in something that's already not paced perfectly, which the Yellow arc is not paced very well. It's pretty slow. And actually, I was in a call reading the last 15 chapters of it because I was pretty bored. And like, I don't know. It's very weird that a string appears on Yellow's finger at the end, so she loves Red. Yeah, she has a puppy crush on him, and frankly, I think that's kind of her motivation for the whole time.
Because it's just like Red shows up and goes, "Pokemon are cool. Here's a Rattata." And it's like, yeah, who wouldn't fall in love with a Red?
She's like, oh my god, his puns.
Yeah,
like, she has a crush on him for the rest of the series, and like, I think it's cute because I like puppy crushes. But like, so here in chronologically, the order of events is Red gets this challenge, Blue notices he's gone and is looking into the Elite Four because of the possible bird connection, which she's wrong, but fair thing to look into.
Yeah.
And then so she's like, for some reason, only someone from, I think Silver tells her, hey, I don't know how I know this, but Lance has Viridian Forest powers and only someone with those could beat him. So she's like, okay, I need to find someone from Viridian Forest. Walks up to Yellow and is like, here, take this hat, pretend to be a boy, don't give anyone your name. And then Yellow's like, my name's Yellow, by the way, like immediately, like chapter 1. And it's so funny because like the Viz translation, one of the translations, maybe it's the fanslation, literally doesn't even do the Amarillo thing. And they're never punished for it. Like, it literally doesn't matter at all. Um, and it's just kind of stupid. So the beginning of this manga is like, oh, who is this mysterious yellow character we've never seen before? I'm sorry, Amarillo character we've never seen before. What are these powers? And it's like, it's pretty immediate from chapter 1. She can talk to Pokemon and heal them, and those are the powers. And it's like, what's her connection to Red? And it's like, frankly, she doesn't have one.
The few chapters earlier where we saw this exactly same looking child, but without a ponytail, like with a ponytail, like, you know, get this Rattata, and this character has a Rattata. It's like, we know the connection. Like, it's not an insane twist, but yeah. Like,
they spend only a page with her putting the hat on, and it's, I wouldn't say it really wastes time. They tease it like 6 times. Like, it happens multiple times. I noticed because I knew about it. It's a waste of time. I don't understand why she's not just a girl. It would be cool to be like, here's our new protagonist. She's a girl.
Is it this kind of thing of like, are you scared of having the protagonist be a girl?
Even though Blue was the best character.
Even Blue is the best character? Yeah. Like, I think the Elite Four is like, teeters on like, wow, you guys are neat, to like, wow, you guys are worse than the Team Rocket guys. Cause the Team Rocket, like, Lieutenant Surge, like, attaching fucking wires to Zapdos to fuel his like power like rockets and shit is hilarious.
It's so little kid. It's so stupid. I love it.
Oh, it's so funny. And it's just like, but then it's just like, you get to like, I don't know, the Ice Elite Four, and it's just like, her voodoo stuff leads to very like an interesting fight, but it's just like, personality wise, it's like nothing, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think Bruno being like possessed is like, or like controlled is like interesting in this kind of way. Agatha is Agatha. You know, I
will say all the villains feel genuinely threatening. Yeah, there are you can die.
Yeah.
Characters do die in Pokemon Adventures, by the way. Like,
yeah.
There's a lot of like, they never found my body and I'm back and fine and my Arbok is back and fine, but characters and Pokemon do die later on, so the stakes are pretty real.
Yeah. Lance is a character.
Not a good villain.
Lance is a character. He exists. You know, like, I don't know.
Is Lance a character?
I mean, like, he's more character than he is in the fucking like games, but like,
I guess.
But like, that's not a hard bar to pass, right? Like, I don't know. It's just, I like his design. That's one thing I like about Lance. I think he's like neat looking.
Yeah, he's got a good. I do appreciate that this manga both times so far has had a meeting the protagonist meets the antagonist around like the 50% mark thing. That's a good idea because it gives them some kind of relationship. Though I did mention this. I saw some people on Patreon being like, I don't like how ham-fisted the environmentalism thing is. And I personally disagree with that. I don't think you can get too ham-fisted with an environmentalist message because it's still a problem in real life and it is still not being fixed. So it's like, clearly we need to be more explicit, and it's not a bad message. But like,
honestly, I don't think it was ham-fisted. Like, I don't think it was like that major anyways. Like, I don't know. It's like, obviously there's like the Pallet Town thing where it's like, Pallet Town is a town with no pollution, and that's like pretty much the like most hardcore thing about it. Like, I don't know.
It's so funny, that scene where Green is like, don't follow me. This is personal. I need to save my hometown. And Red's like, I fucking live here too, you piece of shit.
Here's the thing about that. Green says that, but also he like leaves at an early age to train under a master. And he's like barely in Pallet Town ever, to the point where Red doesn't know who the fuck he is, right? And it's like, there's like 5 houses in Pallet Town, and Red didn't know who he is. So that town is probably even more red than it is green, right? Like, Red has actually been there his entire life. Well, Green was like, I was there when I was like 3, and then I left to train his Pokemon, and now I'm back at 13. And now it's like, I'm die hard for Pallet Town, even though I like show up for 3 seconds and leave on my Pokemon adventure like almost instantly. It's like, okay, dude, fine. And you say it's not Red's business, even though he fucking he is the guy. He is the Pallet Town guy. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, it's funny. The I going back a little to the villain motivation. I do think the Elite Four are better at their environmentalist PETA message than Team Plasma is years later, because like they're not just lying. Like they really are willing to blow up everything and kill all humans. And like, I guess at least they're for real about it, which I like. But I do think they do a pretty bad job characterizing them as anything other than psychopaths. Because like you see Lorelai and Agatha and their little backstory where they first meet, and Agatha basically walks up and is like, "Doesn't it suck that this is happening? Want to kill all humans?" And she's like, "Yeah." And that's very funny to me. But then Agatha, when she first meets Green in the flashback, she's like, "You see, this power plant was made a bunch of Pokemon have to leave their homes. Now it's a haven for ghost Pokemon. People and Pokemon can't coexist." And it's like, what you just said in order was humans destroy Pokemon habitats. Humans made a new Pokemon habitat. And like, obviously you value ghost Pokemon as they are your fucking specialty. So like, I understand why it's bad to do an industrial project and abandon it, but like, this is kind of the worst example you could have come up with. And Lance doesn't get any. You just see him like seeing a dragon, like a Dratini in a slime puddle once, and it's like, I don't think that's a good enough reason to kill everybody.
God.
Yeah, also Lorelai's insane. Like, Lorelai's insane. All three of them are insane. And then Bruno is, like, objectively not even a member of the Elite Four. He's just like a guy
that's, like, brainwashed by Agatha to fight. And it's just like, okay. Like...
Yeah, so it's a little lame in that regard.
Yeah. God. Like, trying to think, just like I another example of just like how fun some like the stuff in the manga is, because it's just like you can't do this in a game or anything, but it's just like I really enjoyed at the end where how Red fought with Eevee with like the stones and like swapping between them. I'm like, wow,
yeah,
it's a fun little kid thing to do, you know? It's like, and also, why the fuck was Red on his bike the entire time?
I don't like that Red got freed at all. I don't care if it was Giovanni. Like, it really just completely makes you go, why was Yellow even the protagonist?
Here? Yeah, like, bike in cave, yeah. Like, it's just like...
He biked to the island.
Yeah, he biked to the underwater where the stones were. I don't know, it's just like they were, like, spending all that time searching for Red, and then some, like, character that only showed up, like, Volume 3 shows up and is like, I freed him earlier. It's just, okay. Why wasn't Red talking to anyone? I don't know. Maybe he thought... in my head, if, like, Red, like, was freed, he was like, huh, people think I'm missing, huh? I should prepare for my epic entrance later on. Because
Red is a bit of a fucker.
Cool. But that's, like, totally just, like,
Red was out, like, weeks before the final confrontation. And it's funny because, like, I remember it being a problem in Gold and Silver and Crystal, because he's like, yeah, getting my hands in ice, like, gave me permanent damage that I have to go through physical therapy. Like, it's hard for me to throw Pokeballs. And I was like, oh, that must be the reason it took him so long to wander through the mountains home. And, like, no, that's not even an idea they thought of yet as of this arc. And I'm like, huh, what's your problem, Red? And, like, it's just weird to have an arc where it's like, Yellow, you are the trainer who's gonna rescue Red and defeat the Elite Four, and she kind of doesn't do either. So, and it's like, all right, well, what's unique about Yellow? Oh, she's a hyper pacifist and therefore is antithetical to the Elite Four's human monster agenda. So that's a good, you know, that's a good antagonist protagonist thing. And then it's like she learns to fight, and it's like, well, that sucks. Like, that's not the point. Like, that was the thing she was. Like, that's not why she's good. And then Red just gets out on his own. And also, it's like, Lance has his own ideas of how to get the 8th badge. And, like, the idea was just hope Giovanni shows up at the last minute, which he did. And also, why didn't they already have the last badge? They had red. Like, it's a little stupid all the way down.
Mm-hmm. A little silly.
The bubbles thing was weird. Yeah, like, I love the way this artist draws characters, and I really like how it actually looks like how the characters are rendered in like their 1x1 square-shaped bodies in the games back in the day. But I do think she's kind of remarkably bad at combat scenes, like that stupid red, green, and blue light bubble thing Lance does, where it's like, look, those different colored bubbles are coming together to create an invisible light bubble, which, like, sure, whatever, little kid logic, but it's like, you couldn't even like shade the bubbles different colors. You're just gonna draw them all white. This is like even more confusing than it needed to be. Yeah, this is a great example where it's like, and it's like this in both translations I read, and I was like, this needed to be 3 different bubbles.
Mm-hmm. God. I'm just thinking about how much I like Giovanni in this. Right?
He's cool.
Like, I don't know. Obviously, he's fucking, like... Because we talked about it, where it's just, like, he was just, like, thinking about killing a child right then and there. He was like, is this kid a problem or not? And it's just, like, evaluating Red, and it's just, like, holding a Pokeball, just ready to slap him at any moment. I'm like, yeah, that's fair. I think that's what a villain team leader should be thinking about. Instead of just,
I like that normally you get like the villain on their throne going like, why do my villains keep getting defeated? Surely it's because they're terrible, rather than, oh, this is like a real threat. And like, I like that he goes and deals with it. And he's like, oh, this kid will self-destruct eventually. And he's just wrong.
Mm-hmm. It's a more valid reason than like, where it's just like, it's actually like underestimating from like firsthand information rather than like seeing your goons get defeated and going like, what's happening? Oh, fucking! I'm looking through the images and I just see this one. The picking notes from Dragon Guard. It's too damn drunk.
Yeah, no, the scanlations really are their own thing. Oh, we had a lot of fun making fun of the way Substitute works in this setting.
Oh yeah, the fucking astral projection Substitute. Yeah.
That's a good question. Which Pokemon team was your favorite? Loved that Red had an Aerodactyl. I love Blue's team.
Yeah, Blue's is fun because it's just like Jigglypuff only for transportation. Jigglypuff does nothing other than float. I think the Blastoise fights are some of the more interesting ones just because of how they use Blastoise.
Yeah, it's funny because the artist gets better at doing singular panel layouts for fights, like when Blue is when Green is fighting the Lapras with that, like, I'm standing on a hydro pump.
Yeah,
it's got some really good angles and shit that are not present at all in Red, Green, Blue. But like the whole page layout never gets good.
Yeah, right. Like, got it right here.
Why is Green called Blue? Because, yeah, this one. Originally, in Japan, the games are Red and Green. They ported them over to America as Red and Blue. I don't remember the reason. So in every version, the main character in English becomes Red and the rival becomes Blue rather than Green, because that's the colors that are there. But in this version, there's a third character whose name is actually Blue, so they had to swap their names, which makes no sense at all because they have color schemes. So, oops, and they just have to call them that forever in every English version, and it blows.
It's a Zora-Zola situation. We explained it like earlier. It's this like just silly thing because like what is it? Like, and you can see it, you can clearly, obviously it's like black and white, but I'm trying to find like an example, because like we talked about this like earlier in our DMs, I think, because it was like you showed me how Blue shows up in Let's Go Eevee and all that other stuff, and it's like, I'm green, but their outfit is blue. Mm-hmm. It's like come on,
and they
guys.
have a Blastoise as their ace.
Yeah, it's like, come on.
It's pretty annoying.
Yeah, it's like, it's just a small like translation thing where it's just like the people who were translating it didn't like see ahead, and they were like, well, I guess we can't change it, so in official things, green is blue and blue is green, and it's just like, well,
I feel like there's at least like 2 more things I wanted to say, but I also don't want to scroll back through our notes. Did we miss anything, chat?
I'm trying to.
I really like the gym leader, the gym leader Team Rocket triad, because I love how often Koga shows up.
Yeah, and Koga is just like uses like a muck as like a cape, and just like uses their
a Golbat as a dual disc.
Yeah, like it's just like very interesting uses of Pokemon that it's just like fucking Lieutenant Surge shooting his Voltorbs like fucking bullets. Right, like,
oh yeah, the bird fusion. Yeah, like I did this too. I have this in the notes somewhere, but Zap Molkuno or whatever it's called. I like that they took that and just used it in Pokemon Infinite Fusion. I love the Eevee that can swap through different forms. I think that's cool as hell.
It's just fun. It's just like it creates like a sort of dynamic thing where it's like I was saying earlier, where it's just like it feels like being a trainer is a skill in of itself in the series, because it's just like there's so much to think about, like releasing your Pokemon, just like actually like with Red with like the stones and stuff, like changing the Pokemon's type. It's just there's a lot more a trainer does rather than just stand there, right? Like they're actually a part of the fight, which I think makes this so cool. Right.
Yeah, I like that Green's thing is he's like, you need to, and like I kind of wish this is what he taught Yellow, is if it was like, if your Pokemon are going to be in danger, it's only fair you know how to react to danger yourself. And like I think that's something that could have worked with her pacifism. Like,
yeah,
just being like, you need, like, even if it's like a you need to take care of yourself thing after he sees her take the bone from the Marowak, and it's like, you can't be doing that, white baby. You gotta.
Yeah.
There's other ways to win battles.
There's this fucking panel. It's the one that you were talking about where it's just like the bridge, but it looks like, and then they draw it where it's just like the hand is extending from the other panel.
This is so amateur. Like, this is something I would have done when I was 16. The tangent of like the boring yellow bridge arm looks so bad. And I don't know, it's just, there's a lot of stuff in here. This is the first thing we've read where there are multiple times I point and go, bad artwork in this way, where I'm like, I think this person is just not necessarily suited to comics as a medium. I think she's a better artist in like a singular static thing. Like, her flow is not great. There's a panel series where Pikachu wakes up after having a nightmare and is like gonna run away from Yellow near the start of the Yellow arc.
Yeah.
And like, you can't fucking tell what's going on. Like, Pikachu's looking every which way, but like the way they're looking and the angle of each shot is like placed in seemingly random orders. It's just difficult to read. And it sucks because like I love how she draws people and I really like how cute she makes the Pokemon, but I am like reading this going, I don't remember this being a problem when I was reading this, so I think the other artists might be better at it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of other stuff. Obviously, this is like a less complicated series than like, you know, all the other stuff we've read, and just like, but like I'm excited to see where like all this stuff goes, right? Because like,
yeah, to my recollection, like I like the way I think that's the original reason I liked the Yellow arc, because I was like, oh, it kind of scales bigger. Yeah. And I like the Elite Four at being villains that aren't affiliated with the League. I think that's cool. And I like that all the characters get a role again in Yellow. Like, that's cool to me. And I remember them, it makes me worried, because I remember them doing that on a grander scale with the Crystal finale and thinking that was the high point of the manga. But also I read it like more than 10 years ago. So now I'm like, I don't know, man. But like, yeah, I mean, at the very least, they have conclusions, which not every arc is going to.
Someone asked, "What did you all think of Blaine's stuff?" We talked about Blaine's cool. Like one of the best characters, honestly, and I like all the stuff.
He has a fake mustache.
Oh, that's so funny because it got burned off because of the training and stuff. It's so funny. He's just an old man, dude, and he got drip.
Oh, you know, um, something you mentioned. You said you were disappointed that the Pokemon don't really have their own personalities.
Yeah,
How do you guys feel about that, chat? While Aloha
I
expunges.
in Pokemon media, I like it so much when the Pokemon are characters themselves, right? Like there's a moment in the early stuff where Red is in the Safari Zone, right? And like he catches that Nidoking that has like one eye missing, and I was like, oh, that's a great addition to his team. That like Pokemon has so much like personality and could add such a dynamic to it, right? Uh, and then that obviously he doesn't use that Pokemon, and I'm like, that's disappointing because it's just like, while I enjoy like Poliwrath and everything like that, they don't have personalities. When I think about that, it's like Ash's Charizard in the anime, right? Where it's just like it's this asshole that doesn't listen, and I think it adds so much to the series. Where it's just like these Pokemon.
Sorry, Gold's Togepi. Someone just reminded me. I forgot how funny that is. Yeah. Okay, go on.
Yeah, and it's just like I feel like that's one thing you miss out on is just like I feel like these creatures should have like unique personalities in their own ways, right?
Yeah,
Poliwrath has personality, he just doesn't have screen time. Rip.
It's interesting because you see that one chapter where Red and Green swap their teams a little bit by accident, and I kind of disliked how much their personalities changed in like 4 days, because it made me think like, oh, these are Pokemon who are just an extension of their trainer personalities rather than their own entities, which I dislike. And then I was like, well, the idea of using a team to characterize their trainer is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And they don't do that as much as I'd like either. Like
you either go hard in one direction or hard in the other, right? Like it's like that's the thing. It's just like obviously like you were talking about like the Togepi in the next arc, which I'm like I'm excited to see if they start doing that, or if like I don't even need like the entire team to have a personality. I would like,
but like their ace should have a
yeah, their ace should have a personality, right?
Like we got a pretty good amount of Poly focus, and I couldn't really tell you what Poly's deal is, other than being like that's Red's Pokemon.
Yeah,
and like sometimes you see him being like, oh no, if like Red's hurt or something, and it's like, I mean, yeah, that's how anyone would react. Like.
Yeah.
And like the Pikachu kind of has the anime Pikachu's personality where it's like a little stinker at first, but like that's pretty much it.
Like, and so it's just like seeing if that comes up again. I know someone asked just like out of curiosity what our favorite Pokemon are. I like Scizor. Scizor's a Pokemon I really enjoy. I like Scizor, Dunsparce. Those are two Pokemon I like.
I like Ampharos and Breloom and Armaldo. Any Pokemon that's head is shaped like a sock puppet.
Damn. Is it because you're a sock puppet?
At what point does the manga start to have the game creep problem you were talking about? Ruby and Sapphire, and it gets worse every arc.
God.
Yeah, like, I love that Yellow rides around on a Doduo, rare Doduo focus. It's so lame because, like, they call her the Caballero, which is, like, cowboy, and like she doesn't do anything cowboyish either, and it's like, well, that's a waste. Like, I don't know, it's Yellow feels like a bit of a mishmash of ideas that never really came together. Oh fuck, one thing I did like, I was surprised to see how much Hey You Pikachu rep was in this manga in the Yellow arc. Like, there's a whole chapter where Pikachu has to feed a Caterpie, and it has to feed it in the exact same way you do in the Caterpie mini game in Viridian Forest and Hey You Pikachu. Blue uses the Hey You Pikachu mic in a couple battles, which is pretty funny.
So Yellow's hat is so huge it gives cowboy vibe, I guess. No, but I understand where you're coming from, I guess. Yeah. If I never saw a cowboy before and you said that cowboys had giant hats, I would be like, I guess that's a cowboy. I also like this is the second series where you're wearing a straw hat, Jello.
Yeah, I did that on purpose.
Yeah.
Though, like, Yellow, to my memory, is one of my favorite characters. You know, I will give... I gotta give Pokemon Adventures this. I like at least one protagonist every arc a lot. Which is not true for every manga I've read, especially not shonen adjacent manga.
Yeah. I didn't expect to like Red as much as I did, but you know, he's just neat. Also, Blue is just great. It's hard. It's hard to put in my mind that Blue is a protagonist, but she is. You know, like
She is.
mhm.
Yeah, I like Blue and Yellow so much. The girls are amazing. This guy always makes the women the best character, which again, so nice after I'm still recovering from the One Piece poison in my brain.
Yeah. God.
Blue is the best character. It's not a contest. You're correct.
Yeah.
She is. She's really fucking funny.
It's just, I don't know, it's just like a character that is like not tied to like the normal lore that the author can just have fun with. Is just so like important, where they're just like, yeah, you're important to the next arc too, because fuck it, I don't care. What are they gonna do, stop me? Yeah. I remember Jello told me about this manga like a year or two ago. He was like explaining like some of the arcs and some of the characters. I barely remember it, but God, I'm really excited to see, because this was like one of the things we first talked about when we were talking about, when we were doing like starting One Piece. We were like, what should we do? And I was like, maybe we should do the Pokemon Adventures manga, and you were like, no. You were like, no one would want to read this. And that's why it's just us two this time.
Oh, did I have more stories from voice acting this with your friends? There's a panel of Blaine in the scanlation where he goes, "Oh my god!" Which we used as a reaction image for a long time. The biggest one is that I misread a panel with Lance, where we also derogatorily referred to the Shitenos, the Shite-No, out of spite. But there's a panel, so you know how if words are too big, because in Japanese they can go vertically more easily because they're blocks, but in English it looks stupid if the words are typed vertically, but scanlations and sometimes official things will do it anyway. At one point Lance laughed, wah ha 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 ha, so like two characters each, wah ha 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 ha, going down. And for whatever reason, I read it as two separate lines of characters. So WHA. And I, not thinking of it at all as a laugh, saw it get to his panel and I went, I don't know if that came through or
no,
if I was.
It didn't.
That's because I wasn't pressing my thing. I saw that and I went, wah! And like that became Lance's signature laugh in our read through. And like only after I did that was I like, oh, that was probably read wrong. Yeah, so that was Lance's, that enhanced Lance to us in the way that, yeah, I'm Rob Lucci and I'm Hody Jones. Kind of enhanced bad villain.
God, it's so fucking great. Oh man. Wall Lance. Just really.
I really didn't like Lance. He's
Yeah.
so stupidly omnicidal.
Yeah, and then also just like he's there.
He's still a better villain than Lysander, but like, you know,
the
favorite
bar.
villain, the Team Rocket trio. For
The
sure.
Team Rocket trio is so fucking good.
Koga and Sabrina especially, I really like.
I like Sabrina's design a lot.
She's cute.
Yeah. Like it's just fun. It's like the Team Rocket trio was like just so fun, and then it was just like it's hard because it's just like obviously like the Elite Four had to follow up that great act to the point to make the the Elite Four fights better. They just brought in the Team Rocket guys to fight them, and it was just like wow, like,
Sabrina's hot, but she doesn't have a super distinct personality. She's got the Mara personality where she's trying to be a cool villain and fails repeatedly and gets riled by literally anything.
God. The way Sabrina gets after the Lorelei fight about being tricked by Blue, yeah.
Yeah, that made no sense. That That's also a problem with the Elite Four fights, is that like both of them had 2 phases. And I was like, oh, I was good with just one, actually. Like, the Elite Four battles ended up being the normal length of a shonen fight in a manga. And after how quick the fights were in the first arc, I was like, kind of liked that better, actually. And like Agatha's, where it's like, I can change the pattern of my Arbok, thus changing its biology so that
Oh
it has different
yeah.
powers. Covering that up with blood or ink externally would not change that ability. Like, that is such a cheat. And then Lorelai's voodoo doll being able to be like, now you're trapped. And it's like, first of all, Blue was not carrying her arm under her sleeve in case coincidentally someone had a magic voodoo doll and got specifically one of her 2 arms. She wasn't doing that. I don't believe you. And then the other thing is, like, if it's a voodoo doll, it would have grabbed her real arm. So, like, that was stupid.
Nah, don't think about it too hard. Blue's
like, I know I'm not supposed to think about it too hard,
Blue's
but when the
just too
fights get that long,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's fine to have little kid finales when the fight is like 6 pages long, and I'm like, okay, whatever. And also if the villains are allowed to use little kid powers, but when it's like, look at all this time we spent showing off our cool setup, like it's a JoJo fight, it's like, well, now you're playing this straight, and it's stupid.
That's one thing we talked about. It's good that the villains also get to do the little kid dumb power bullshit, right? Instead of just the protagonists, right? Where it's just like they're both just bullshitting each other to see who wins. Which is good, because usually only the protagonist gets to be like, I whip out stupid ability, and then it's just like, the villain's like, oh, and just dies, explodes, be gone.
Lorelai could have just won by snapping their neck. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not like they care. They want to destroy the world anyways. So it's not like they have morals like stopping them from doing that, but you know.
Lorelai is pretty freaked out when Blue's arm rips off, though. She's like, "What the fuck? I didn't think you'd do it." Like,
I didn't think it would be fucking like. Who knew killing the world would mean killing people? That's crazy.
Yeah, it's very stupid. Yeah, someone was like, you should do this with future arcs. Bro, we're gonna read all of it.
Yeah. Look, if you're new here and you don't know, this is the Manga Book Club that's usually Patreon exclusive, but we did the first one for free. So if you want to see more stuff like this in the future, make sure to check out Jello's Patreon, right? It's only $5. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, what the fuck else is $5 nowadays, right? Like, what do you need to do? It's like buy half a burrito. Like, come on, you get thousands of hours of content. We did this with all of One Piece. We did this with all of Dungeon Meshi. We did all of this for Pluto, and now we're doing Pokemon Adventures until we get tired of it and then switch to something else before switching back, probably. So, you know.
I was under the impression we would only get the first gen series. No.
We're not cowards. Okay?
No, you guys voted for this, so now we're gonna be reading this for months.
Now we're gonna be reading this for months. Just me and Jello and you.
No one else wanted to do this.
No, we asked. Everyone said no. Voted for Golden Kamuy.
So did I.
I think I voted for like Berserk.
Yeah.
But I don't regret this.
Yeah. I was surprised how much fun I was having with RGB. And also surprised how not fun Yellow was comparatively.
Yeah,
I think it's mostly a length problem though. Had it been like 15 chapters, I think it would have been pretty good. And honestly, I think it could have been 15 chapters.
But yeah, like looking at all of our choices, it's so funny that Pokemon Adventures won. Because we were like,
I think it would have been funniest if Zatch Bell won.
It would have been funniest, but we would have been so hyped. Also, it's not Zatch Bell, it's Gatch Bell. Who are you?
That's true.
Yeah. Fake fan.
Yeah. So is that pretty much everything?
It's pretty much it. It's shorter than our normal ones, but it's just like, it's Pokemon Adventure. It's not complicated. Like,
Vixen declined this. I did not ask Vixen because I love Vixen dearly, but I don't trust Vixen not to come in here like, I loved the worst character you've ever seen and have not paid attention to anything else. So.
But, yeah. but, but yeah, thank you all for coming out. Obviously, join the Patreon if you want more of this, because next we're going to be doing Gold, Silver, Crystal art.
Crystal, which is pretty much the exact same length. It's 90 chapters again.
Yeah, a lot of these are pretty much the same length. So enjoy that. It'll be in like 2 weeks because we do this bi-weekly. It's bi-weekly book club. Join the Patreon. Join the Patreon. Join the Patreon. Give us $5. $5 only $5.
Also, amusingly, the fucking official translation for these, like they did like up through Jello within like 3 years after it came out in Japan, which makes enough sense. And then it took them another 7 or 8 years to get to Gold, Silver, Crystal, and they were doing it in like 2010, like a decade after the games came out. And it's like, guys, what are you doing?
Semi-weekly or twice weekly? Bi-weekly.
What do you mean?
So man? Every other week. That's what bi-weekly means.
If you want to show up here in 3 days, go ahead.
I mean, you can show up early. I'm not going to stop you, but I'm not going to be here. But yeah. All right. That's it. Later, people.
Bye.